This holiday season, every time you purchase a 12-ounce SnortBucks coffee, a portion of the proceeds will be given to the Penny Foundation, the world's premier charity dedicated to helping down-on-their-luck content creators pay their daily bills.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money. I need my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
So stop by your local SnortBucks today and help send some Penny their way.
Cooking soul.
Sorry about that. I kind of lost track of what I was doing there for a minute. But excuse me. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. 25 days of Goutmas. Fun times all around. And we're going to actually be speaking on someone who I'm actually rather familiar with, to be honest, who had himself a bit of a glow up. He had himself a bit of a glow up earlier this year at the cost of Carl Knobs. He's the guy who goes over the speedrunning stuff or whatever. Or Carl Jobs, sorry. Carl Jobs. And Knobs, sorry. And he's kind of been on the warpath as it pertains to trolling on Twitter as well, which he is kind of funny, to be honest with you. On top of that, he has the Nike deal as part of their gaming line, and he's like Billy, just the hot sauce is doing fairly well. He's racking up some wins. He's racking up some wins. Supposedly, he was supposed to become one of the official sponsors of the Kiwi Farms. Not sure if that really happened, but it was funny to think about it. In any case, we're talking about the homie we're talking about Billy Mitchell and whatnot, and his campaign this year. Well, Billy, interestingly enough, has a hate mail series that he's been doing apparently for a number of years, but I've only recently peeped game on it. And that's what we're gonna go over today and whatnot, and we'll see what's what. I think when people think about Billy, they think about the King of Kong situation, that documentary, and they think about just that. They think about some of his Donkey Kong stuff, but they forget about the Pac-Man stuff, is where the stuff really seems kind of incriminating. And but there's another documentary out there I want to tell you. It's called The King of Cons, which you can find on YouTube, which actually goes even deeper into the whole thing with Billy Mitchell, what's that guy, Steve Wiebe, and that whole situation, and then the actual record itself, right? The record that's one of the records that was so coveted that people had actually been breaking that record for a long time, and Billy Mitchell knew about it, allegedly. Billy Mitchell knew about it, and he took in all of these. He met some of these people too, and actually took in their tactics to finally be able to build the blueprint so he could actually break the record himself. And some people feel like, on top of that, his manipulation of his quote-unquote friends that were around him to try to stifle people like Steve Wiebe, but a bunch of other guys who were pretty talented competitors during their days. Like, it's a whole conspiracy if you really think about it. I may go over both of those documentaries on stream one day. They may be fun. But it's a lot deeper than what people give credit for. Anywho, and then you got the Twins Galaxy situation and how they were covering up for him, but they needed him as part of the marketing, so on and so forth. I could literally talk your ears off all day about that shit. In any case, let's talk about Billy right now and his trolling. His trolling's pretty funny, I gotta admit. I don't like Billy Mitchell, to be honest with you. I think he fucked over people to keep what little he had. And ironically enough, I think Billy can still compete. I just think that when you get to a certain age, man, your body starts to betray you. He just didn't have the confidence. That's my thoughts, but I can't prove that. In a similar way, actually, as Ethan Van Skyler, that's Comicsgate, I feel like I don't think reason why Ethan can't come through on his projects is because Ethan doesn't have it in him anymore. I don't think Ethan can draw the way he used to. That hyper realistic, that hyper detailed style. I don't think he has it in him anymore. And if he can do it, he can only do it in short bursts. And I think that's the reason why he wants to do the sector, internet bloodsports thing. He's been wanting to do that since he started Comicsgate, or since he got into Comicsgate. He didn't start it, but since he got into Comicsgate, he always was looking to use drama to fuel the coffers, to fuel his projects, and then put them out there. And I always think I think the plan for Ethan Van Skyler was to always go back to Marvel or DC. He was this close to being able to draw Batman, which is what he always wanted, or go back to Marvel. And I honestly am of the theory that he's still trying to do that. But truth be told, as the artist, though, Ethan Van Skyler as the artist, I don't think he has it in him. I don't think he could do it anymore. I think that he thinks that his work is subpar, and if it gets exposed, then that kills the persona of Ethan Van Skyler. I don't think he can work at the pace that's needed, and I don't think it has the detail. What he's known for, I don't think he can accomplish anymore. That's what I think. But we'll talk about that when we get into my campaign talking about Comicsgate. It's coming soon. In any case, we're here to talk about Billy Mitchell. I brought up Ethan because Ethan and Billy do share some similar traits. To be honest with you, if you guys follow Comicsgate, you'll know what I'm talking about. But let's go ahead and hop over here. And let's see here. And then we'll jump right into our situation. I think this is it here.
All right.
Here we go. Well, before that, proper introductions, ladies and gentlemen. This is 25 Days of Goutmas, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and Tim Snortons. Big ups to all you guys for kind of sticking around with this. Like I'm saying, I've kind of given you guys a kind of window into some of my other interests. And you can find some lol cowish or some just interesting shit all around if you know where to look and whatnot. But like I said, for some of you guys who have stuck around for all this, I appreciate it. And whether you watch it now or you watch it later on down the line, it is what it is. It's appreciative nonetheless. There is a playlist for 25 Days of Goutmas, and there will be, as usual, as tradition, there'll be a playlist for 12 days till Goutmas. So that's a thing as well. Just putting that out there as a bit of a PSA, if you will. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and see what Billy Mitchell, King of Kong, whatever. Let's see what he has to say about our circumstances in this hate mail series. And if he keeps doing it, I'll keep following it. I'll definitely keep reporting on it if he keeps doing this shit. And let's give you guys proper introductions. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Billy Mitchell. Billy opens Hate Mail Part 1. This is from November 28th of 2025. The link to this will be down in the description, as everything else is. Without further ado, here we go.
All right, we're here. Billy Mitchell, video game player of the century, with our favorite subject. It started years ago, and it was always a big hit. So now we're bringing it back. It's Hate Mail with Billy Mitchell.
God damn. I don't know how Carl fucking dropped the ball on this shit. Holy fuck. He just overplayed his cards. I will say that Billy does seem a bit healthier than he did when he was going through the trial. I don't know if he had a stroke. I don't know if it's Bell's palsy, what Jim Ross has. I'm not sure what he was inflicted with, but he seems to be doing better. So, you know, that's a thing, I guess. But yeah, Billy's still a piece of shit. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not wishing death on nobody either. So it is what it is. All right, let's see what this hate mail thing is about. Oh, and the way he fucking he dog walks fucking DSP on Twitter is hilarious. I gotta say, it's just pretty funny.
Some of these emails I've seen before. Some of the voicemails I've heard before. Some are actually new to me. All right, this one comes from Joseph. It was to our attorney back in 2022. First of all, the subject line of your contact for validates as if it were a phone number. Let the sand blank you hired to make this shitty WordPress site fix that. Anyway, what kind of would take on Billy Mitchell as a client to harass a YouTuber?
Oh boy, that's eye-opening. All right then, well, you know, trolls are trolls, so I guess it is what it is. But good God, That was actually, I gotta give Billy some credit for bleeping out the guy's full name, because if we're using spicy language, I suppose, like that, boy, he may not want his full name out there. That fucks up people's employment history, amongst other things.
I hope both of you get to death
Jesus.
by a pack of... this email was sent from somebody's workplace, if you can imagine that. It was sent immediately after Carl Jobs launched his GoFundMe. You send it from your workplace? This could actually get your employer sued, and I'm the wrong guy to attempt that with. All right, this one.
I wonder if Billy's gonna chase that down. Hey man, what's a few more dollars in the coffers, right? Holy shit, that was spicy. Couldn't have put that shit under another name or something. You couldn't have put that shit under a throwaway email account or something. God damn, son. That was what, 2022? Okay, man. All right.
One is to the attorney also. It's from Rick, August 2021. The subject line is "F you." That about explains everything. It says, "F piece of shit being paid to threaten innocent people. Every single person working there should be in prison." My question for Rick is, who do you actually think is innocent? Okay, another email to the attorney. Boy, our attorney's tough. He takes a real beating. Message body. It says, "Are you even real lawyers? How can you be so idiotic to the point that you side with Billy Mitchell? Blank is a leading authority on media law and defamation specialist with more than 40 years experience in pursuing and defending defamation claims." 40 years and you are that gullible. I might say you are not that gullible. You are immoral, corrupt. You should be ashamed of yourself, you small simpleton. You should be ashamed of yourself. Says the guy with too much time, no hobbies, and no life. But this is what we face.
I don't know if him just writing an email means that he has no hobbies or no life. I think that's a bit of a stretch, if you ask me. Just an opinion. It's just an opinion.
Okay, this one's interesting because I know for sure who this is from. Sometimes I read it and sometimes I'm choppy or I'm stuttering because I'm trying to follow word for word and the graphics aren't so good. But this message was around 2012, my lucky guess. William Mitchell Jr.
God damn, look at the format of that. Jesus, Billy. You got hate mail? I mean, I know he has to have hate mail going back further than 2010 or 2012, but god damn, son.
Is a friend of mine, and I cannot tell you how much pain I am personally because you want to pretend. Blank and I are not gonna stop with blank till the world knows what you did with Billy. It's gonna come to an end and you're gonna get spit on. You may ask why. Lying and using people cannot be tolerated in a community of friends. You can pretend and justify your actions, but I can tell you you are wrong. You should be very afraid. I am a person who can think. I am not like everyone in American culture. I can think. I am coming for you and Billy. Watch what God's gonna do and be amazed. Billy and his nominal Catholicism does not stand a chance. Unbeknownst to you, I was called as a true prophet, and you are only a stepping stone to face the corrupt culture that serve idols. Let the games begin. Ha 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 ha.
Sounds like some silly ass shit DSP would say. Oh, some straight up super villain shit. I wonder how Billy knows this guy though. Was he like one of was he around like their like friend group at that time or back in those days or what? Jesus Christ. Man, we're holding on the emails from 2012? God dog. I mean, I can't talk. I'm sure my Gmail has a bunch of shit in it too, but god dog.
You better pray to your idols to save you, but the demonic has no jurisdiction. So you better prepare to meet the Lord Jesus Christ. You and your pagan bullshit is going to be found wanting. May the grace of God and the love of the Spirit and the mercy of the Son be blessed upon your soul. Blank, who had a just cause against you. He's more likely to be called a true mentally ill person than he is a prophet or theologian. All these things that he professes to be. This is one of the original crybabies. This one's from Aaron at 7:10 a.m. What a way to start your day. He probably had his morning Joe, and then he sent me this very brief email. Steve is the real Kong champ, you bitch.
Steve Weeby.
That's it. Steve is the real Kong champ, you bitch. See, bitch. Says Aaron, channeling his inner Cardia B over email.
That's kind of funny.
Wow, Aaron, I hope you have a nice day. I don't really know what to say. This one's from Matt Adams.
Oh, shit.
Now, this goes back to 2009. This was at 3:18 in the afternoon, so maybe a midday break. The subject is, Billy Mitchell seems to be a grade A certified douchebag.
Yeah.
Is this something you can confirm? Confirm? I don't know if I can confirm it. There would be some people who would agree with you. Boy, nobody's gonna smoke anything past you. You got all the answers.
Basically, I gotta say though that Billy is a particularly interesting type of fucking asshole. I gotta say, he for all these years, right, and like, you know, because his generation of arcade players or whatever kind of faded out. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one, you have to really care about retro games to some degree to give a fuck about any of these guys. And Billy has kept his name alive, for good, bad, or otherwise. And in a lot of cases, he has kept the names and relevancy. Well, maybe not relevancy so much, but I guess that depends. But he's at least kept the names alive of a lot of other well-known people in the retro gaming community or whatnot, which is still a pretty big community, by the way. I'll give Billy that. You know what I'm saying? Whether he did that, you know what I'm saying, whether he meant to do that or not, I will give him credit, because there's a lot of guys who have done some really amazing stuff in retro gaming that I wouldn't have known about if it wasn't for Billy Mitchell. You know what I mean? So I have to give him that. But he is a very interesting troll, especially at his age. You know what I mean? But if you've watched Billy Mitchell over the years, or if you've seen like his old stuff, he's kind of always been like one of those asshole type trolls. He's always been that way. So it's not like a persona that he's putting on. It's who he is.
This one's a long one. I got to sit down for this. It actually starts off okay. It's nearly midnight, and the subject line is, love your sauce. Ha 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 ha. Talk about living in an alternate universe. Whom do you think you're hoodwinking? You have integrity. You be successful. You have a trophy wife.
Oh shit! Oh, I was gonna ask which one, but you know, whatever.
Your act is transparent.
Maybe he's meaning the most recent one, I guess.
Maybe. That garbage personality act works out in Hollywood, Florida. The rectum of Florida. Florida itself, the rectum of the US. But anywhere in the rest of the US where people can read and write, you're a tourist target. Have you insulated yourself to the point where you think that act flies? You were a great player in 1982, end of story. For you to care about defending this bullshit to the point that you're hiding out when Steve comes to town is beyond pathetic. Successful? Your restaurants are.
He really should have done that head up with Steve Weeby. He just he owed Weeby that. He owed him that, to be honest. The cop out, sending the fucking videotape and all that bullshit, that was lame, bro. So fucking lame. And you could say, you know what I'm saying, he was holding the high ground, so he didn't need to. I don't know, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Billy Mitchell built his quote unquote reputation off of taking on all challengers. But there's something about Weeby, and even now, I think, there's something about Weeby that bothers Billy. He's not easy to figure out. He's not fake, if you will. Like, you've got someone who is high wired. I'm not sure, or hardwired. I'm not sure if Steve Weeby's like autistic. I'm not sure, but like the way his mind works is pretty fascinating. To be honest with you, because like it's like watching him play the drum. Like Steve Wiebe is pretty fantastic on the drums. I got to be honest with you. That's kind of silly what that dude can do. It's really, really wild. And I guess everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, I should say. But the way he approaches like Donkey Kong, it's something to behold, I gotta tell you. And I've seen a lot of the other champions or record holders that have come after Steve Wiebe, and each one of them has their quirks and stuff too. But Steve Wiebe stands out. And I'm not sure really if I can articulate to you why. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's a methodical and mechanical type approach, where Billy is more free flowing. Like Steve Wiebe is very much is methodical. It's just very, very technical and methodical. And I think that would shake anybody's nerves, to be honest with you, because he has very few weaknesses. I don't know. I have to think about that further, but I do think that Billy owed Steve Wiebe that face off. And even though Billy will probably say he doesn't owe anybody shit, I think he owed Steve that. I think he owes Steve Wiebe that. Just a thought.
A mecca of wood paneling and sporks. I don't care if you're a billionaire. The money isn't buying you a better haircut. I have a new flavor for your sauce that you can dedicate to the Mitchell family. Pink Sock Bonanza. What the hell is that? Did you call that woman a trophy wife? Where do I even begin, Billy? You know the difference between normal tits and fatty ones? I imagine
the fatty ones are usually real. Unless you talk about implants.
You think she's a trophy wife because she wears low-cut shirts, which show off her lard mounds. Her face is a mess, and she follows her husband into arcades like it's normal at 50 years of age. If she has any pride in being in this mecca with a champion, that's the definition of the opposite of a trophy wife. A trophy wife is hot, not fat, and tells her husband brutal truths, such as his hair looks crazy, his wardrobe needs 25 years of updating, and his interest blows diseased cow's penis. You clearly come from a long lineage of hillbillies. You clearly come from a long lineage of hillbillies, as illustrated by your parents and your hair. And while I understand that you're trying to change your sordid heritage for future generations by marrying your cleaning lady, it's just not enough. You are the definition of a just like we can still count on the sun rising and setting every day, and by I mean that you are a coward. This much I am certain of. While I am hypnotizing, he spelled it wrong. While I am hypothesizing that you are gay, I cannot verify that at this time. I'd be happy to sponsor a testicle fondling contest.
Oh, fuck? All right, well, now we're starting to get extra with this shit.
At Twin Galaxies, which I will videotape and send to Guinness, spelled Guinness wrong. If you like, I am sure you will be the champion of said contest. This would complement your unofficial titles. You're gonna be a further joke if the feature comes out. I hope you're reading this as you blow dry your hair. Why don't you go vote for Palin or something? Dummy. Mike, you won't be verifying anything at this time or any other time, believe me. By the way, the cleaning lady, she has a doctoral degree, unlike you. He doesn't like my parents, he insults them, he attacks them. I guess he doesn't like hillbillies. I don't know. Hey, Mike. So hate mail doesn't always come by mail. It doesn't always come by email. Sometimes it comes by voicemail. They couldn't find me, so they called the attorney and left it on his voicemail.
Punch yourself in the face right now, and then punch yourself in the face again. Then go find Billy Mitchell and punch him in the face. You people are worthless scum. You.
I think maybe he's upset with us.
I gotta admit, that was kind of funny. I'm thoroughly amused, to be honest with you. And like I said, his hot sauce isn't bad. I'll say that much. But I am thoroughly amused by that. He's handling the trolling well. You know what I'm saying? If DSP was willing to do that, or even Wings, they probably go further. And you know, Billy, I mean, shit, how much older is Billy than fucking DSP? He has to have DSP and Wings beaten by at least 20 years at the very least. Well, yeah, I'd say like 20 years maybe. Something like that. I'm not sure. Anywho, that was pretty funny. We'll see. If Billy decides to keep doing those, I will throw those into the rotation because why not? That's kind of funny. Like I said, the link to that will be down in the description. Check it out at your leisure. Oh, takeaways. I was thoroughly amused by it, and that it is interesting that for one, how long he's been getting hate mail, and two, how far back, well, what their grievances were, I should say. I'm actually thoroughly fascinated by that. So I'm gonna check the channel and see if he has any of the older hate mail stuff, and if he does, I'll get him and we'll go over them. Why not? It could be fun. It could be amusing. To say the very least. I was hoping that we would hear some like 2025, maybe 2024 stuff, but you know, he graced us with some of the vintage stuff out of his cellar, so can't be mad at that. Nice and short one, ladies and gentlemen, short but sweet, if you will. I think I might go over the King of Kong documentary, or I'll just at least do a video, and I will do the King of Khan one too. I'm pretty sure I already have that one downloaded. But that was a pretty good one too. And that kind of tells the story of some of those records and the suppression of certain people and stuff like that. It's a really interesting watch. I gotta tell you. So anyway, I'll figure something out and I'll let you know on it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. This has been 25 days of Goutmas, and I will catch you guys tomorrow with whatever tomorrow decides to bring, if anything else. Season's greetings and happy holidays as usual. Take care of yourselves, people. Don't forget your SnortBucks coffee. Best beverage company. And take care of yourselves out there, people. Later.